Fellas, welcome back to the MK MMA podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to last week's episode. We are on episode 15 now. I can't believe we're already on episode 15. These are just flying by, and I feel like we just started now being on episode 15. I like that little tiny milestone I just hit. We just hit 10 like 5 weeks ago, and so I'm just super happy that I've been staying consistent. You guys have been enjoying the videos. And just as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you liked episode 14. We just touched on the UFC Paramount Deal. We talked about the future of the fights and the future of like the flyweight division. And we touched on, Royval versus Kape. And that was a great UFC fight night too. A lot better than I thought it was going to go. And yeah, I hope you guys like that side. I try to like mix up some episodes every here and there when it's like small UFC fight night cards and, try to make different episodes for you guys to see a different side of me, like as my fan perspective, and not just keep it super just professional and podcasty, so I hope you guys like that episode. And yeah, but let's just jump right into it. It was Royval versus Kape this weekend. We can pop up the fight records right here, actually, just throw them there. And, I'm 18-11. It was not that good. I picked Royval to win, and obviously he didn't. He got finished pretty fast. Got finished in the first round against Kape, and it's just not going my way. I went 0-for on the UFC 323 main card, and no, I only did one pick for this weekend. Just as I said, my knowledge for that fight card was just not the greatest, so I wasn't confident in picking anything besides that fight. I really thought Royval was going to, get the job done, but he did not. Kape looked, but yeah, I'm 18-11 now, so no fight predictions for this weekend. There's no UFC card, which is nuts because there's not one on until January 24th. Just a little UFC break, which is much deserved for the fighters and the UFC business and the whole company. They did so much work for this 2025 year, and they have a lot looking forward to with this new Paramount Plus deal and everything for 2026. So yeah, 18-11. I'll make sure to get better picks in for the year of 2026. We're coming back different. I like 18-11. I like how I finished off on that, but yeah, we'll cut it from there. But yeah, I always like that segment. What else? Yeah, let's just touch on Royval versus Kape. Also, my bad for mispronouncing Kape's name last week. I know you guys gave me a lot of heat for that, so which is much deserved. I need to be on top of my shit when it comes to pronouncing these guys' names. So yeah, thank you for that. Royval versus Kape. It was just a quick fight, and Kape put his lights out way earlier than I thought. I didn't even think he was going to do that too. It was pretty nuts, and he just honestly looked really good the whole fight. There was not even that many strikes landed. There was only Kape's 18 strikes to Royval's 17 strikes, and Kape just kept it fast paced the whole time. He wanted it to roll his way. He was in a lot of control for that fight too, and then he went in really fast to throw those strikes on Royval. He threw in a couple hooks and then landed that right hook at the very end to drop him, and then just finished him on the ground, and that was that. It was a pretty insane performance by Kape. He earned a lot of my respect that night too. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you guys always been a fan of Kape? Because I haven't, just because of all the shit he's talked, and like that beef of him and Kyle France was pretty funny. And then him talking shit to Izzy, that was like that ticked me off because like, bro, he's talking shit to a middleweight that would just eat him alive. But I like that dog in him though. That like, you got to respect that too, I guess. But holy shit. Because Izzy's one of my favorite fighters of all time as well. And then, so that always irks me a wrong way when someone's, talking shit to one of my goats. But, yeah, he earned a lot of respect from me that night. And Royval has to go back to the drawing board. And, he is probably going to have to fight a fight or two before getting back to another title shot, But, yeah, high respects to Kape, I like the way how he goes at fights and tries to keep them at his pace. Like, as a fighter, always you want to try to control the fight as much as possible. And I think he does a good job at that just because he keeps it fast-paced. And he's been fighting a lot of guys that are just a lot of standing bang guys, and that's what he wants. And I think he fights at a really good pace for him to be able to control the fight, and that's what he did against Royval and put his lights out. And now he's going to fight Van for the flyweight championship, which is going to be absolutely nuts. I guess we can touch on that too. I'll close that out on that UFC fight night. But yeah, good shit for Kape. Like, that was just I was just not expecting that, honestly. And Royval, you're one of the boys. Like, you're one of my favorites. But yeah, just go back to the drawing board, get a dub, and then go from there, man. But yeah, Kape versus Van for the flyweight. Those two keep saying they want it in Texas in February. I believe it's that month. And that would be super, super sick if that happens. They're definitely going to fight each other for the belt, I believe. And I think that's a pretty awesome fight for Josh Van's first title defense. And I think Kape is just a great matchup to him. It's two standing bang guys that fight super fast, keep it fast-paced, heavy hitters, knock people out. And I think it couldn't be like this is the best draw-up, I think, the flyweight division could have gone for the UFC flyweight next title defense, because like Pantoja's going out because he's hurt. He's going to be out for a while. That sucks. And then you're like, oh shit, like who's Josh Van going to fight that could make the next flyweight championship fight exciting? And I strongly believe like Kape is the guy, honestly. Like, he's exciting. I think he will be able to sell this fight pretty well because, like, of how much of a hothead he is, and at the press conferences, I think he would talk a lot of shit. And then I think this will be a really good co-main fight for Kape versus Van. Like, it's just gonna be a big boxing match in my opinion, and I think it's just gonna go super well. And to have that going into the Paramount Plus deal in 2026 in the new year, almost right away, if it happens in February like they want it to in Houston, Texas, like that's gonna be awesome. And who knows, man? It's just like there's obviously only two different outcomes. Either Kape wins or Van wins, but I think it's just gonna be a firework type of fight, and we're just going to see who the best boxer is during that. And I think Josh Van will win that. I don't want to go too much into depth with who I think will win that fight and, go into much detail, because I want to save that for the later episodes, like from months from now, and talk about that for you guys. But yeah, I think Josh Van will win that fight. I just think that his confidence is through the roof after beating Pantoja. He didn't take any damage either. I know Kape didn't take any damage really as well. So, I mean, these guys are going to be fresh. I think they're going to have great camps, and I really think we're going to see the best versions of them for this fight. So, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're excited for Van to keep defending this belt. I think a lot of people want to see him keep defending this and have multiple title defenses. It's crazy how he's the second youngest fighter to become champion in the UFC. Like, he was just a year and a couple months older than John Jones, which is nuts to see someone even like come close to touching that record, because I mean, as it happened since John Jones, like way back in the day. So that's pretty cool to see as well. But I'm super excited for that. It'll be a great co-main and have that pay-per-view be a 2 title fight night. And who knows? I'm excited for it. So that's it there. What else? We can talk about the UFC Paramount Plus deal a little bit more. I know I touched on it yesterday, but like, let me know what you guys think. I know that like Dana announced like what's all going to be on the Paramount Plus deal through the year of 2026. Like, there's going to be 44 UFC cards. There's going to be 16 to 18 boxing cards. I'm really pumped about that, just to see just more like different styles of fighting on the Paramount Plus deal. I think that's like that's so smart. And then 14 UFC BJJ cards, like that's awesome. And then there's going to be 12 Power Slap cards too. Like, I'm so excited to see Power Slap like on that platform too, and just be like an easier way to watch it, because those are so entertaining. Like, how can you not be entertained by Power Slap? I mean, it's such a crazy idea how like it's such a simple idea to come up with. And of course, Dana's the one that can come up with that and actually make that a successful business. And that's why he's the greatest person in the fight business. Now, he's the smartest guy. He's the best at what he does. He knows how to sell fights. He knows what the right deals to make. He knows what the right people to put on the card. He knows what the right thing is to do for the future. And I think this is just scratching the surface for doing this UFC Paramount Plus deal. I think that the UFC is just in for such a big year, 2026. I think it's going to just top 2025 so easily. And I just can't wait to see what that all brings us. I'm so excited for that UFC, for the boxing fights. 16 to 18 boxing fights are going to be so sweet because, Dana White, he did Canelo Crawford, and that was insane. It did numbers, and it was like one of the best sold gates of all time in the boxing industry. So that was just really sick to see, and I'm happy that he's going to bring those amount of numbers of boxing fights onto Paramount Plus as well. Just because there's people that prefer boxing more than UFC or than MMA. There's and vice versa. So it's just like really good that he's balancing that out, and I just can't wait to see. It gets me thinking about Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua this Friday, or this Saturday, and that's just going to be an insane fight. It would be so hilarious if Jake wins that fight. But I do not see any possibility of that happening. Like, Anthony Joshua is like a 2-time champ. He's a gold medalist, and he just towers over him. And he's like for me, one of the most respected boxers of all time. Like, you get this guy's just not like a cupcake walk, and I know Jake knows that too. But I just think Anthony Joshua is just gonna eat this guy alive, and there's I don't see anything else possible than that outcome. So I'm definitely gonna be tuning into that. Let me know. Also there's no UFC fights until January 24th. So this is a good time to jump back into boxing for a little bit, get back in the loop on what's been going on in the boxing world too. Watch a very fun Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, and yeah, I think that's just going to be great too. But let me know what you guys think about that fight. It's weird that I'm touching on boxing right now, but let me know what you think about Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. I'm just I don't know. You know what? Screw it. Let's throw Anthony Joshua on my fight record. We're going to go Anthony Joshua by KO against Jake Paul. Put that on the fight record so we can keep that going for the segment next week. I think there's no other outcome. There's no way Jake Paul knocks him out. There's no way it goes the distance. And Anthony Joshua is just, this is not going to be a fixed fight. No way. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know if you're excited for that. Let me know if you're excited about the boxing cards on the Paramount Plus deal as well, or the BJJ ones too, or the Power Slaps, or any of that, man. I'm really excited for this Paramount Plus deal. Dana White and the UFC made a bag off this. What, $7.7 billion for 7 years? That's absurd. So let me know what you guys think about the UFC Paramount Plus deal. I can't wait to even talk about and expand on that more. Shout out the UFC for all they've done, all the joy they've given me, and they keep making it better for us as fans. And you don't even have to pay for pay-per-views anymore, which is just even better. It's just gonna be crazy. So I can't wait for that, and I hope you guys are as well. It's just gonna be awesome. So with what else is there to talk about? It's gonna be a short episode because there's no fights this weekend. It was a small fight night this past weekend. Touched on the Paramount Plus deal. Let me see if there's anything else I'm kind of forgetting. Not really, man. What else? I guess we can go into the MK pound for pound rankings, pop them up right here as usual. I'm going to change it up from last week. The UFC pound for pound rankings kind of influenced me a little bit. So, it's not going to, there's only going to be one thing that changed. It's the same as always from last week, but I'm going to put, I'm going to put Pantoja at 9 and then Josh Van at 10. And the reason why I did that is just because, like I was saying last week, I thought I was definitely being generous putting Van above Pantoja because he won the belt and he's a champion. Pantoja's not anymore. But I didn't want to, I just decided to switch it, flip it because Pantoja's just like, a long reigning champ, defended it successfully 4 times, and then Van didn't do anything besides, like, he just tipped over, and then, like, Pantoja just fell wrong on his arm and it broke. Like, it's nothing that, like, Van did to impress me to think that he's a better fighter than Pantoja in that fight. So that's the only thing I'm changing there, and that's pretty much it, honestly, for the MK pound for pound ranking. Sorry. There's not going to be a lot changed there just because, there's no fights until January 24. That's it for that segment. But, like, I can touch on, I guess, the upcoming pay-per-view fights as well. Like, there's actually so much to announce for the next 3 pay-per-view fights in the UFC Paramount Plus deal. Like, there's Justin Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddy. There's Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez #2. What else is there? There's Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira 2 as well. I think that's, like, such an insane fight. And those are all headlining on their own cards at UFC 324, 325, and 326, And then, like, Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes at the co-main event for UFC 324. I think that should have been its own main event, honestly, because that fight is literally a super fight. That's, like, one of the biggest women's fights we're going to see of all time, in my opinion. I think it's going to go down as one of the best fights in history. It's just, like, it's just crazy. And then, O'Malley versus Yadong on that card too it's so stacked. That's the first pay-per-view fight on the Paramount Plus deal to kick off 2026. It's just like, man, that's, like, insane. And then fucking Derek Lewis is on that too. And then UFC 325, there's not been much announced besides Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, and then Dan Hooker versus BSD. That's a great fight. I'm happy to see Dan Hooker is, like, staying active and fighting again. And then, like, oh man, it's gonna be a good card too. And then then you got Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. It's just gonna be that's just insane. 3 pay-per-views in a row to kick off the 2026 year. It's just, like, so exciting to me, and I just eat this up, dude. It's like the UFC is just, like, I don't see a sport better than it, in my opinion. Like, there's just build-ups after build-ups after build-ups for fights, and it's just, like, it amazes me how it just doesn't stop getting boring. It's just it's just awesome, and I'm so proud to be a fan of this sport, So, what else? Sorry guys. There's not really much else to talk about. I don't want to touch up on, like, those fights and go into detail either, because I want to save those for other episodes, So I guess we're just gonna cut this one short. I'm trying to find a co-host. If you guys know anyone that's a big fan in the Indianapolis area, hit me up. I would love to try to find a co-host for this podcast, for this platform, and give better content for you guys. I know you guys are probably just getting tired of my stupid ass face and just talking to a camera, but I enjoy it. I'm trying to find someone. Don't get me wrong. I'm having a bunch of friends coming back from school for winter break, and so I'll be able to try to get a couple guests on throughout the weeks and see what kind of cool episodes we could do from there. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and make sure to ring that damn bell, man. I'll keep pushing out content as always. I'm not stopping. Nothing's slowing me down, and I can't wait for the year of 2026. It's only up from here. Get me to 100 subscribers by the end of 2025. I think that's a good goal. I'm only 2 subscribers away, so I think we're going to hit it. But as always, boys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one, fellas. Peace.